Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Whenever and wherever you're listening to this podcast, you are very welcome. Welcome to Rugby News, the podcast about our town, our people. We'll kick off as we like to do with a roundup of the local news, that's news local to rugby, with the help of the excellent local newspapers, the Rugby Observer and the Rugby Advertiser. In this week's show, podcast number 10, released on Friday the 24th of January, I'll share with you the local news from around Rugby Town, including honouring Holocaust Memorial Day, clampdown on illegal parking, and another town centre pub closes. And then in my weekly deep dive feature, I talk to Linda Lowne, Business Director with Rugby First, the organisation responsible for so much that goes on in the town centre. Just over 2 years into her job, a breath of fresh air, working to get collaboration and joined-up thinking into the way business is done. A fascinating chat. And so, without further ado, here's our news. Monday the 27th of January 2025 marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau, a complex of Nazi slave labour, concentration and extermination camps in Poland, where approximately 1 million Jews were murdered during the Second World War. We should, all of us, be aware of the significance of the Holocaust and the associated horrors beyond imagination, and not forget how the political landscape of Germany was so manipulated in the late 1920s and 30s to such that considered, allowed and supported the inhuman Holocaust crimes to be committed. Evil triumphs when good men do nothing is a phrase attributed to Edmund Burke. Actually, he didn't say that. It's a misattribution. What he did say, though, is perhaps more helpful in his Thoughts of the Cause of the Present Discontents in 1770. When bad men combine, the good must associate, else they will fall one by one, an unpitied sacrifice in a contemptible struggle. Lofty stuff, perhaps, but you don't need to read too many stories in the news these days to see the relevance of that observation. Anyway, Holocaust Memorial Day is on Monday the 27th, and I'm pleased to say the Observer reports that there is a display on the subject in the foyer of Rugby Art Gallery and Museum, and it's created by thoughtful secondary students from Harris, Halton and Lawrence Sheriff Schools. It's a collaboration, and you know how much I like a collaboration, where each school simply decorated the separate giant capital letters HMD in symbolic and interpretive ways and combined them to become HMD Holocaust Memorial Day. The Holocaust Memorial Day Trust have chosen For a Better Future as the theme for this year's HMD, encouraging people to come together and learn about and from the history of the Holocaust and the genocides which followed. Once again, art can help us do just that. The students' work remains on display in the community space at the Rugby Art Gallery and Museum until Sunday, February the 2nd. Now here's a timely warning to the many hundreds, perhaps thousands of motorists who, on their way out of town along the Clifton Road every year, nip into the Co-op or other shops opposite the Lawrence Sheriff School just for a couple of minutes, leaving their cars in the bus stops. Last year, 163 parking tickets were issued on that stretch of road, and yet the habit still persists. Be warned, though, the County Council are intensifying last year's crackdown on consistently inconsiderate and illegal parking. And that's because, despite their efforts, there have been a number of collisions and near misses, including one in which a bus driver was injured as he got off his bus, which had been forced to double park at the designated stop. County Council parking enforcement is set to increase hereabouts, making it increasingly likely that anyone parking there illegally will be fined. The county say parking in bus stops is against the law and can lead to disruption and, in the recent case, injury. We would kindly ask drivers to consider this or risk being fined when visiting the shops on Clifton Road. Another rugby pub has closed its doors, for now. The licensees of Bar 29 in Sheep Street have left the business, and now the owners say the search is on for an experienced, dynamic person to take the helm. A spokesperson at Admiral Taverns, who own Bar 29, said, "We are strong believers in the importance of community pubs, and whilst Bar 29 is currently closed, we are looking hard to reopen it as soon as possible and are currently recruiting for a passionate new licensee to take over this extremely popular community pub. It's located in the town centre of Rugby, is a known sports and live music venue, and attracts high footfall, especially at the weekend, thanks to its late-night licence. They're looking for an experienced, dynamic individual or individuals with strong vision for the site. Anyone interested should please get in touch on the following number: 01244 321 171. Nigel Jones, who lives in Rugby, said, "I'm surprised Bar 29 has lasted as long as it has, as it was empty most of the time. Ouch. Let's hope a new tenant is found and they have better luck." Latest data from the UK Health Security Agency shows that flu is now circulating at high levels, growing exponentially, and we're all being urged to have a flu vaccination as cases rise week by week. It's UK-wide, as the UK is seeing unprecedented numbers of people of all ages diagnosed with the flu. If you haven't yet had the vaccine, there's still plenty of time to have a jab and protect yourself against the most common type of flu viruses. You may still get the flu after being vaccinated, but it's likely to be milder and not last half as long. Groups who can access the flu vaccine are children under 2, primary and secondary school pupils, adults aged 65 or over, those who have long-term health conditions, are pregnant, live in a care home or a carer, or live with someone with a weakened immune system. It's a free NHS flu jab if you're in these groups, or there's a charge at most local pharmacies. Well done to local company Suez for celebrating the production of 1 million tonnes of fuel known as climber fuel. It's an alternative fuel made from household, commercial and industrial waste. And they've been doing this for nearly 10 years. Government Minister for Nature, Mary Creech, visited the Rugby Solid Recovered Fuel (SRF) facility at Malpas Farm headquarters of Suez for a tour. She said, "We know far too many of our precious resources are going to waste, and that we need bold, innovative approaches to maximise their value. Where waste cannot be avoided, it is essential to explore what other benefits it can provide, such as in energy generation. And that's where the climber fuel is going, used by cement manufacturer Cemex as an alternative fuel in its kiln operations. The sustainable fuel aims to completely replace coal and gas, enabling Cemex to operate completely on alternative fuels in the future." Rugby MP John Slinger observed, "It's inspiring to see waste being put to good use, ensuring the continued manufacture of concrete, a critically important product in our modern world." Phil Baines-Clark, director at Cemex UK, said, "Our partnership with Suez has been instrumental in significantly reducing carbon emissions at our Rugby cement plant. Our ultimate goal is to operate the kiln with 100% alternative fuels, and we're getting close to this target. Through ongoing innovation, we are determined to continue decarbonising our operations and advancing towards our goal of carbon neutrality." Dr. Adam Reed, MBE, Suez Chief External Affairs and Sustainability Officer, said, "We've been working in partnership with Cemex since 2013, and it's fantastic to see such a milestone achieved as the UK looks to decarbonise as one of the ways to cut its global emissions. It's a real win-win for both our customer and the environment." Well done Suez and Cemex, and well done Rugby. Coming down from the New Year high can be tough, with feelings of sadness and loneliness sometimes adding to the stress that many feel at Christmas. Last Monday was Blue Monday, said to be the most depressing day of the year. So I found out some tips on how to keep a positive mindset. Being with friends and family. Spending time with your loved ones can help battle potential feelings of sadness and loneliness. Think about arranging more meetings with those you love through the remainder of the year. Exercise. Now, exercising can be a good way to relieve stress and regulate your nervous system, helping you feel better mentally. It can also benefit you by improving your fitness and increasing your stamina. A favourite of mine, listen to music. That can relieve tension and bring positive feelings when you feel low. Singing, dancing and letting go can be very beneficial to your mental health. Get enough sleep. A good night's sleep is so important for your mental health. It can help you feel more positive, improve your relationships with others, and improve your cognitive function. Set some goals. Setting goals can keep you focused and avoid feeling overwhelmed. Having manageable targets is important and can decrease anxiety, yet still help you get things done. Pamper yourself. Make sure to give yourself some downtime. Take a moment or two to let yourself relax. Have a long warm bath and light some candles. Even small actions like listening to an episode of a favourite podcast. It says that here, honestly, I didn't make that up. Listening to an episode of your favourite podcast can reduce anxiety and bring joy during busy times. I like that one. Take regular breaks, whether it's at work or at home with your family and friends. You need to make sure you take regular breaks to have a drink or a bite to eat. And eat healthily. Incorporating fruits, vegetables and fibre-rich options like nuts can significantly improve how you feel. That isn't to say you can't have a treat every now and again, but healthier choices can give you more energy and give your body the sustenance it needs. And meditate. Practicing mindfulness is crucial for good mental well-being and can reduce anxiety and stress. Whether you do some yoga or download a meditation app, doing just a few minutes every day can help you navigate worries and tough times. There, I hope some of that helps. Another way to feel better is to get involved with town centre events. And this week, on Sunday the 26th, the town centre is hosting its first ever outdoor Chinese New Year festival. I'm going with my mic to check it out, and if you have time, so should you. It's a free event based around Marketplace on Sunday, January the 26th, between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. It promises to be a spectacle of traditional Chinese music, dance, crafts, food, face painting and lantern making, and tea tasting, and the centrepiece of the day, the procession, involving the iconic lion and dragon dancing with lanterns and drums, setting off from Marketplace around about 11:30. Amy Zhang, one of the organisers, said, "I'm really pleased that we have the opportunity to celebrate Chinese New Year with the wider community in the town centre. I have no doubt that it will provide an amazing spectacle and fantastic atmosphere in the town centre." Linda Lowne, Rugby First Business Director, who we'll be talking to later in this podcast, said, The Chinese community in Rugby and the surrounding area continues to grow, and we're looking forward to welcoming visitors from Coventry, Warwick and Leamington to the town centre, which can only be good news for the local economy. In the Chinese calendar, 2025 is the year of the snake, a symbol of wisdom, and people born this year will be embraced by intelligence and creativity. Lucky them. I'll be there with my microphone to capture the sounds, describe the scenes and chat to people. So I'll see you there, Rugby Town Centre, between 11 and 4 on Sunday the 26th of January. And when you spot my yellow mic, come and say hello. Volunteering is good for the soul. And as it happens, more volunteers are wanted to help Rugby's hospital charity to expand its services. The Friends of St Cross have called for new recruits after staff at the hospital asked it to expand its ward trolley service, its mealtime companion and patient visiting services. A spokesperson for the Friends said the ward trolley service now needs a further 15 volunteers to populate the new extended rota. Our mealtime companion service needs 10 more volunteers, and we're always looking for more patient visitors to offer companionship for patients during their stay in hospital. Training is of course provided for all services, which are supported by a team of service coordinators. So if you or someone you know might be able to help with the gift of time in a voluntary role, then ring this number 07767 788 938. Storm Eowyn is set to hit the country in the next few days, so we all need to be mindful of the hazards. I'm hopeful that it doesn't impact too badly on the Chinese New Year festivities in the town centre. Yellow weather warnings predict heavy rain and strong and gusty winds, which are expected to reach up to 50 miles an hour locally. So do take care. And while we take all sensible precautions to protect ourselves and our property, the RSPCA is urging us to remember to keep the pets, livestock and wildlife as safe as we can too. You're listening to the Rugby News podcast, where I draw together all the main stories from the last week from Rugby Town and all around, so you can hear them at your convenience for free every Friday and with no distracting ads, all in about 20 minutes or so. You can listen while you're walking the dog, driving to work, or finishing off that ironing. And if you like what you hear, be sure and follow Rugby News, all one word, on your usual podcast station to get a notification of when a new one drops. And tell your friends. Do tell your friends. If you like it, they'll like it too. Spread the word. Do spread the word. Thank you. Now, that was a roundup of the local news stories about our Rugby town, and I am indebted to the excellent local papers, the Rugby Observer and the Rugby Advertiser, for all their help. And hey, for even more detail and even more news stories as they happen, go to their websites or follow them on their Facebook pages. Okay. Every week in the Rugby News podcast, I take my trusty yellow mic and I visit interesting places and chat with interesting people from around the town. People who are making a difference, adding to the uniqueness of this extraordinary place. This week, I went to speak with Linda Lowne, Business Director at Rugby First. But, I hear you ask, what is Rugby First? Rugby First is a BID, stands for Business Improvement District, and it's a not-for-profit company set up by local businesses to deliver on a mandate that is voted on by those businesses every 5 years. It's funded by a levy paid by those local businesses in addition to the council rates, and this levy money is ring-fenced and can only be spent within the BID area in accordance with the mandate. The service is agreed and voted on by the local businesses at the beginning of each 5-year BID term. There are over 330 bids in the UK, and Rugby was one of the earliest ones, set up in 2005. They're responsible for the town centre CCTV system, the street cleaning operation, and they run the team of Red Rangers, who provide a level of security across the town, customer care and first aid support to visitors. Rugby First also, as we will hear, put on events across the town centre and a range of marketing initiatives. On the board of 7 or so directors sits Linda Lowne, responsible for delivering all these services, and I managed to catch an interview with her in her busy schedule, recorded in her office on Corporation Street, hence the background noise of some traffic zooming backwards and forwards, and I asked her first about her background and how it helps her do her job.
I've come from Nottingham. My background, I spent 20 years in the civil service, working for the court service, the Immigration Appellate Authority, then the Lord Chancellor's Department, and I ran my own business after that. I was placed in the role of a carer too. I've brought up 5 children. So all of that experience plays into the role that I have now, because I understand what people are going through. I understand what it's like to be a single parent and having to work, and I understand what it's like to run a business. I understand the pressures.
Real life, real world experiences in the public and private sectors, and her personal life. I asked what were her first impressions in April 2022 when she joined Rugby First.
I came to the town. Before I applied for the job, I looked round, I talked to stallholders on the market, I spoke to some shop owners, some business owners, just to get a feel of the place really. And I was just inspired by how passionate those businesses are about the town itself, and the need to make improvements to make it even better.
Like all high streets and town centres across the UK, our town centre businesses could do with help and support in these difficult times. I wondered how Rugby First go about helping them.
Rugby was one of the first places to have a business improvement district, and to start with, what we were was we went under the sort of the tagline of clean and safe. But over the years, town centres evolve, and the emphasis is much more now on marketing, promotion and events. Our job is much more to promote the businesses too, help them to join the dots between themselves, to do some joint promotions and joint events.
So getting shops and other businesses in the town to work together and not to operate in isolation. I recalled that in 2015 there were the first Thursday events where rugby came alive after 5. There were 4 or 5 of them, once a month through the summer, with all the shops open until 8, with music and entertainment across the town, street food. There was a real street party atmosphere about the place. They ran out of steam, as we know, once the Rugby World Cup swallowed up the world's attention, followed by the move in October 2015 of Marks and Spencer out to Elliott's Field, which pulled the rug from under so many of the smaller shops who depended on the footfall generated by M&S. I asked her if anything like First Thursdays were on the cards for those that survived.
This year, we will see a series of late night events again. So last year, there were a group of businesses who joined together to do that, and they did 3 or 4 evenings together of late night shopping, which was really popular, with Prosecco and nibbles offered in various establishments, and it went down really, really well. So I think this year the same will happen, but we hope to really expand that to lots of other businesses who want to join in.
The First Thursday events were a little ambitious in what they set out to achieve, and perhaps tried to go too far, too fast. Linda is more cautious, wise to the dangers of over-ambition.
I think with events, it's not a one-size-fits-all. You have to evolve them. As with late night shopping, we've got a lovely core group of businesses who work well together and have reignited that Thursday night late night shopping. We've promoted it, we joined in with it, just promoted shopping locally in the town centre. And I think if we can just build on that and we can get more businesses gradually to join in, then we get the hospitality sector to also offer maybe a free glass of wine with a meal on that particular night. People can go there after they've been to the late night shopping event. Then it all starts to become a town centre offering.
And you mould it as on the basis of experience, and success breeds success.
Absolutely. There was a lot of positivity for those events that ran last year, and the reason why they were successful was because the businesses that ran them did them really well and were really passionate about it and put a lot of thought and effort into it. So for that, a huge thank you to them.
Retailers and hospitality businesses working together can only be a good thing. Presenting Rugby Town Centre as a place, a location, a setting for a variety of different offers and combined offers. And Rugby First are supporting and encouraging this. For this to draw in the crowds, the local population needs to know of these events as they grow, and Rugby First tries to get the message out.
Rugby First are quite prolific at posting what they're doing on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah. And also our website gives details of all our events and how you can get involved.
The Rugby First website has, in my view, the best, most comprehensive What's On information that I've seen. It references a wide range of venues, events and types of entertainment and attractions, ongoing and one-offs. But it's not comprehensive. If people don't know about what's going on in the town, if there's no easy-to-use, dependable and accurate one-stop source that covers the complete range of attractions on offer, you're going to limit the potential for success.
You're quite right. At the moment, there isn't a really good place. I know that Rugby Borough Council are working on that, but we need to be working together to produce a really good central site. And I think the more that we can promote and shout about all of our live entertainments that are going on and share that on our pages, and that's one of the things that I'm really encouraging at the moment for this, whole town centre offering, for us all to be sharing what we're doing, and not only what we're doing, but what other people are doing with all our database. Yeah, we need to be promoting our town. We need to be saying to people, don't go to Leamington, don't go anywhere else, because actually you don't need to, because we've got a really, really high class entertainment in your town centre. The Macready Theatre is a prime example of that. They've got some really cutting edge shows that we're really lucky to get and at a really affordable price to go and see it. The Ben Hall, the same. You've got a fantastic sort of variety of performances and Rugby Theatre for, an amateur. They're an amateur theatre, but they're absolutely outstanding, and their performances are second to none.
And she's not wrong. We discussed the layout and the fabric of the town centre, the backdrop to all the shops, pubs, restaurants, entertainment venues and the one-off events, and agreed that our town centre, with its hidden corners, its alleyways, linking interesting streetscapes with their mixture of fine architecture, that in itself is an important dimension to the offer of what you might call Rugby PLC.
There are some real hidden gems, and we did a Hidden Histories tour linked with our Paddington Bear tour last summer. So whilst the parents or the grandparents were taking the children around Paddington around the world, there were boards for them to read about the history of rugby. We've got so much to offer. I think it just takes, that vision to put it all together and put it in place, that combined offering, because we have got the architecture to support it. We have got the community to support it. We have got the history to support it. I think that's the way that the town will evolve. It will hopefully become more of a tourist attraction. We will be in more of the conversations, for Coventry and Warwickshire, and we are, because we're a huge offering in that.
That's a vision for the future for the town, attracting people from far and wide to see and feel what we have and hear our stories. But we need to get our local people to get more involved first. As Linda suggests, we should learn to walk before we start to run away with ourselves. Linda's a busy woman, and I let her go, thanking her for giving me her time to speak to me. I was heartened and impressed by what I heard. She's working really hard to encourage the retailers to share and collaborate in interesting ways, to get joined up with the hospitality sector. Collaboration and cooperation, 2 words I've been hearing a lot in my recent interviews on this podcast. How can you expect to succeed as individual operations against the resources and methods of the multinational corporate brands unless we do work smartly together in common cause, highlighting the differences between Rugby Town and the corporates of Elliott's Field? Each is an important part of our town, but they are so different to each other, and we should be building on what makes our town centre so different, what sets us apart. It's our uniqueness, our personalities, our individual service-driven offerings, all set within our historic streetscapes and impressive architecture, so that you can truly say you can't get rugby anywhere else than Rugby. As Linda said, we have so much to offer, and Linda is showcasing that as she builds a series of town-wide events, all aiming to increase awareness of the town's offer and build pride in the town centre experience. It's a two-way thing, of course. Those businesses need customers, so those customers have to want to actually commit to visiting the town for whatever reason, and that commitment is made when they find the offer irresistible. And as we know, that starts with being aware that stuff is going on, sensing that it's stuff that is of interest to us, and then being tempted to cross the brink into actually acting on that temptation. This is a process steeped in inertia, lots of barriers to get over in order to make progress, and it sounds like a serious marketing strategy is needed. And I'll bet we have the expertise in the town already to help Rugby First develop it. We spoke of a single dependable what's-on source, a what's-on shop window for all attractions, a web page or app that helps towards awareness. Well, that's a great start, but I sense even that's stuck in the weeds at borough offices. I hope I'm wrong. We'll find out, I'm sure. It was great speaking to Linda. I was really heartened by what I heard. I'll probably see her at the Chinese New Year celebrations on Sunday 26th. There we are, another new and exciting event promoting all that is good about Rugby Town. Hope to see you there as well. It's free to visit, and if you see me and my yellow mic, come and say hello. Okay, I've been Simon. Goodbye. Okay, we've pretty much reached the end of this podcast, and thank you so much for staying with it. I publish it once a week, every Friday morning, so if you click follow next to Rugby News, or one word, on any of the podcast platforms, you should get a notification when a new one drops, so make sure you do follow. As well as the news of Rugby's week, I always have a deep dive, an interview with someone in the local community who's making or trying to make a positive difference, trying to build our community, to enhance the profile of the town, to make us proud of Rugby, our town, our people. So if you think of anyone that fits the bill, let me know, please. Email simon.rugby rugby.news@gmail.com. I hope you liked what you heard, found it useful, and you want more. And if you did, others will too. So share the news and spread the word by sharing the Facebook posts and telling your friends about Rugby News, all one word. Any ideas to make it better, of course, let me know. After all, it is your town, your people. Reach me on email simon.rugby.news@gmail.com. OK, I've been Simon. Goodbye.